a couple of highlights from our study on career satisfaction, which I think are noteworthy. This was a very, very large survey. And what we found is when asked, I believe who you know is more important than what you know, about half of men, 50%, 54% agreed with that statement. Who you know is more important than what you know. 60% of women agreed with that statement on average. But when you separated out by visible minority, non-visible minority status, what you saw is a much bigger gap based on visible minority status than we saw between men and women. So visible minority men felt 67, almost 2/3 of visible minority men felt that who you knew was much more important than what you know. And an astonishing 72% of visible minority women felt that workplace practices were unfair. The basic issue here are the differences in the experiences, the orientation, and the values, and therefore work habits of people who are typically my age versus people who are typically my daughter's age. And we see this in the schools. I'm sure some of you see this in your workplaces, and we have to address it. A lot of boomer managers think that by applying the same standards that were applied to them in terms of supervision, in terms of management, and in terms of performance monitoring, they will get the same results. You won't. They will leave. They can leave. Given the current environment, people my daughter's age have many, many, many choices, and they're not prepared in general. Brittany Morrison, who works for me, is an exception. In general, they're not prepared to sacrifice their lives for their work. They've watched their workaholic parents, and most of them want different things. That creates incredible challenges in the workplace that have got to be addressed. But what's exciting about this is the things that you do to create better workplaces, whether it's for the Gen Ys or because you want to support women with small children, the things that you do to create less workaholic workplaces, more supportive workplaces, are actually better for everybody, regardless of their demographics. And I think that's the big trend for this century.